Hey there. I just wanted to put a book review up because I finished reading a book last night and I thought it was really good. It was all about how to launch your career, and I think I would suggest it for anybody because, anybody could use help and advice and tips about how to launch their careers. So, yesterday I finished reading Who's Got Your Back, and the author is named Keith, and he just basically says mostly in the book that about how to launch your career, and he says that the workplace should be more friendly and open. Keith says in the book that the main problem, in his personal opinion, the main problem in a company is that employees do not feel comfortable talking to other employees, and they don't really feel like they can ask their boss a question if they, make a mistake. So in the beginning of the book, Keith starts out, he's in his late 20s, and he had just gotten out of college, and he's probably been out of college for maybe about a year, and he's working for a really nice company. So he kind of, if you want to, you'll have to buy the book to know more about it. I won't give away too many details, but he kind of explains what it was like working for that company and everything. And then after he was working with the company for a few years, a new job offer comes along from another really big company, and he actually sat down with his boss for about an hour and discussed it and said, another company is offering me a career, should I take it? And after a lot of thinking, he ended up leaving his job at his current position and working for another company. So that's what Keith says. He just says that overall he thinks that bosses should be more open-minded and just a lot nicer, and make people feel a lot more comfortable around them. Because they shouldn't just be nitpicking and real bossy. They should be open to, suggestions just as much as the employees should be. And if you want to come to them, you should be able to ask somebody. And then Keith also says the other thing that he kind of goes into is there's 4 different mindsets that will help launch your career, and I'm not going to go into all of the 4. If you want to know the 4, you can buy the book. But the first 2 are honesty and accountability. So honesty, like I said, in honesty, he's not really talking about lying when he's talking in this book. He's talking about the employees being more comfortable with each other and more open with their boss, like if they make a mistake or they want career plans, or actually if they even want to change their job, and going to the boss and asking questions with the boss, so the lines of communication are completely open. And then the second one is accountability. And so that would mean that the employees hold each other responsible for reaching their goals. And be able to make a commitment and being responsible and everything like that. And of course, Keith goes into that in the book. And then the other point that Keith touched on is he thinks that employees should stay in contact more, and more importantly, the boss should be more in touch with their employees. He says that they should do a 10-minute phone call at least once a week. Sometimes in some companies that he's worked for, do it once a day and everything. So have meetings as much as you can. And then he thinks that the boss should take each employee out to dinner once a month. So Keith says in the book, you can either go to breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and he just, breakfast in the morning is good, lunch is okay, but kind of the downside is that people have to schedule their day around it. If they have a couple hours in the middle of the day to, sort of get together, maybe they can do a lunch. Dinner is good, except the only problem is that it does kind of cut into people's family time and free time. And then I really liked the book a lot. I give it a thumbs up. I don't really think that who could really, say no to the book. I thought it was very helpful, because I think any book that you read is really good about, your career. And, of course, if you're sort of in a management position, you should read this. It's called Who's Got Your Back, and I just finished reading it, and I thought it was really good and everything. And he kind of stresses that, the negative parts of businesses nowadays is that we don't have communication. That's what he emphasized in the book. Communication, communication, communication. People getting along, goals, knowing exactly what you're going to do, and just people just being nicer to work with instead of people being nitpicky and picked on and people being managements. I'm not saying all do that, but some of them do. I've had bosses that I've worked for before. And so he just kind of goes into like it being like a lot honest, open atmosphere. And the other thing that I kind of wanted to share with you that I took some notes on, so I wanted to do this in the book review, is that Keith wrote down 20 types of coworkers that you should avoid. So I'm going to read off the list right now. Self-doubter, the black and white thinker, bad attitude, perfectionist, victim, risk avoider, struggler, conflict avoider, overachiever, loser, shamer, fixer, bully, schmoozer, uptight, joker, scientist, pleaser, drama queen, racing too far ahead. So yeah, if you kind of want to, I'm just kind of like listed the 20 personality types that Keith says to avoid, and I'm going to get that in my next video. I'm going to get more into details on the 20 different coworkers that we should avoid. So yeah, my overall book review about Who's Got Your Back, I really liked it a lot. I thought that it was very informative, and I think that he has a more positive attitude, because sometimes bosses just like to nitpick and judge. I'm not saying that all of them do, but sometimes they're just, there and they're like, completely on a power trip. So if you are trying to launch your career, or if you are in a management position, I think this would be even more valuable for you. You should buy it off of Amazon, and here is my link to my website. It's called Who's Got Your Back, and I thought it was very helpful, and it gives a lot of advice for employees and managers about how to run a company.